Hello everyone, welcome to Topper IAS. As part of our daily series, today also we will continue with our discussion of few important news which have been sourced from Hindu newspaper. Okay, so let's get started. So the first one is with respect to a exercise. The exercise name is Japad. Okay, see, almost a contingent of 200 army personnel of from India will participate in the multinational exercise called Japad 2021, and where it is held? It is held at Nizhny in Russia from September 3 to 16. Okay, so Japad 2021 is one of the theater level exercises of Russian armed forces and will focus primarily on operation against terrorist. Okay, so the exercise aims to enhance military and strategic ties among the participating nations while they plan and execute this exercise. Okay, see, countries are coming together and conducting a military, a theater level exercises, a practice kind of. So by doing that, they are enhancing military and strategic ties, and this exercise particularly to enhance focus, operations against terrorists. So remember, what becomes important for you is Japad exercise. Okay, and it is held in Russia, Nizhny, Russia, and who are all, where it is held. You remember that. So India is participating. Remember that point. Then next one is with respect to Ladakh. See, Union Territory of Ladakh has adopted a state animal and has adopted also a state bird. So what is the state animal now? So see, it has Ladakh on Wednesday has adopted two endangered species, snow leopard and black-necked crane as state animal and state bird. Okay, so snow leopard as the state animal and black-necked crane as the state bird. See, so you should also know what is the environmental status with respect to these species. See, coming to necked crane, these are the cranes which are only found in Ladakh's Changtang region in India, and they are described as majestic birds. Why majestic birds? Because you can see the size itself. They are 139 centimeter long with 235 centimeter wingspan, weighing 5 to 6 kg. So that is why they are referred as majestic birds, and the bird sighting is considered as very auspicious in Ladakh. So the IUCN status of this black necked crane is near threatened. Okay, remember that. Then snow leopard, coming to snow leopard, the IUCN status of snow leopard is vulnerable. Remember this. So International Union for Conservation of Nature red list under that. So remember the Union Territory of Ladakh. Remember snow leopard as a state animal and black necked crane as a state bird. Then coming to basic information related to IUCN, International Union for Conservation of Nature and Natural Resources. It is an international organization working in the field of nature conservation and sustainable use of natural resources. It is involved in data gathering and analysis, research, field project, advocacy, and education. So what it by doing this, what it mainly aims to do is influence people to conserve the nation, encourage them to conserve the nation, assist societies also to conserve the nature, and ensure that use of natural resources is equitable and ecologically sustainable. And the organization is specifically well known for its publication of data called IUCN Red List of Threatened Species. Okay, so it assesses the conservation status of species worldwide. So what is the status of animals according to the number of animals present? So we have seen snow leopard vulnerable, right, and near threatened black-necked crane. So this status is given according to the number of species present. So remember, IUCN Red List of Threatened Species. Then next one is with respect to Sabarmati River. See, High Court had said that stop polluting Sabarmati River. So it has come down heavily on Gujarat Pollution Control Board and the Ahmedabad Municipal Corporation for not curbing pollution in Sabarmati River. So untreated effluents are entering the river and causing the pollution. Court also went on to the extent of saying that there is an excess of corruption between civic body officials, pollution control board officials, and industries. So that is why the pollution issue is not addressed. So what becomes important for you is you should know the location of Sabarmati River, right? See, Sabarmati River is one of the major west flowing rivers in India. So we have west flowing rivers, east flowing rivers. Remember, Sabarmati is west flowing rivers, so going towards Arabian Sea. So it originates in the Aravalli ranges in the Udaipur district of Rajasthan and meets the Gulf of Kambat in Arabian Sea after traveling almost about 371 km in southwesterly direction. Okay, remember, covers a state of Rajasthan, Gujarat, originating from Aravalli range and is a west flowing river. Next one is with respect to Deeper Bayou Wildlife Sanctuary at risk till dumping stops. See, if you recollect, on August 25, Minister of Environment, Forest and Climate Change had notified eco-sensitive zone of Deeper Bayou Wildlife Sanctuary on the southwestern edge of Guwahati. So, eco-sensitive zone was declared on August 25. So, what has activists are saying is that as long as you don't control the dumping of garbage near the wetland, the eco-sensitive notification is of not going to be much helpful to the Deeper Bayou Wildlife Sanctuary. So remember that. See, coming to other aspects is you should know what are eco-sensitive zones, how they are declared, and coming to Deeper Bayou Wildlife Sanctuary itself. See, this is Assam's only Ramsar site. Okay, so it is designated. Ramsar sites are nothing but those wetlands which are of international importance, and they are designated under Ramsar Convention. So these stuff you remember. See, coming to, see, you can see the waste that is being present there. Then Ramsar Convention, Ramsar, it is nothing but wetlands of, convention on wetlands. Actually, this convention conference took place in 1971, a small Iranian town of Ramsar. Since then, the convention is referred as Ramsar Convention. And under this convention, you see there is a definition of, wetlands which is very, very, broad, wider. See, it includes all those stuff: swamps, marshes, lakes, salt marshes, mud flats, mangroves, all this stuff. And not only that, it can be artificial, permanent, or temporary also. So water, so whether naturally artificial made like reservoirs, permanent meaning all throughout the year, or seasonal also. And water within these areas can be static or flowing, fresh or brackish, saline, and can also include inland rivers, coastal or marine water to a depth of 6 meters at low tide. So at low tide, if the depth should be at least 6 meters. And they also include even underground wetlands also. So by this you can see the definition of wetland is very, very broad according to the Ramsar Convention. And coming to eco-sensitive zones, see, basically these are considered to be around 10 kilometers around protected areas, national parks and wildlife sanctuaries, and these are notified by Minister of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, so under Environment Protection Act of 1986. And the basic aim is to regulate certain activities around national park and wildlife sanctuaries so that it can minimize negative impacts of such activities on the fragile ecosystem, that is national park and all those stuff. And next one is with respect to Sri Lanka, declaring economic emergency. So why did they declare economic emergency? Because there was a rise in food prices, that is nothing but inflation. Okay, so Sri Lanka has declared economic emergency to contain soaring inflation after a steep fall in the value of country's currency caused a spike in food prices. So this is nothing but a inflation. So inflation, you should know, is nothing but general increase in the prices and fall in the purchasing value of money. So moment prices of goods go up, so money that you have is not enough to purchase a goods, so purchasing value of money will go down. So that is what the meaning is. So moment, so this is nothing but depreciation. Okay, so value has depleted. So if you are importing the food grains and all this stuff, obviously you have to pay more. So that is why the cost of goods has gone up. So that is why the fall in value of country's currency leads to imported inflation. So to contain that, they have declared economic emergency. And next one is with respect to report of UN's organization, International Labour Organization. Okay, so what the heading of the article is: over 4 billion don't have social protection. So in a report on the state of social protection globally, United Nations International Labour Organization said that 4 billion people are still living without any social safety net of any kind. So what is exactly social safety net? See, it includes all those stuff such as access to health care, income security measures, and measures related to old age, unemployment, sickness, disability, work injury, maternity, as well as extra support for families with the children. So these all helping things, all these are classified under social protection. So International Labour Organization has said that 4.1 billion people still do not have any social safety net, no health support, no income support, and all this stuff. And you should know what is International Labour Organization. As I said, it's a UN agency whose mandate is to advance social and economic justice through setting international labor standards. So it stands labor standards, and it was founded in 1919 under League of Nations, which is oldest specialized agency of UN. So League of Nations was there, then it got converted into UN in 1945. And among UN agencies, International Labour Organization is the oldest. Remember that. So that's it for today. You can download the PDF of this document in the link that is shared below, and do download Topper IAS Institute app so that you get access to a number of these videos which will be helpful in your UPSC preparation. That's it for today. Thank you.